Rambam says, Hayom wa halayla arba wa esrim sha'oth. The day and night, 24 hours. We're speaking here about sleep. Dailo la'adam lishon shalishan. It is sufficient for a person to sleep 1/3 of that time. Shahu shuna sha'oth, 8 hours. Wihiyu besof halayla. Kadesh yeh mitahilat shanatho. Ad sheta'aleh hashemesh shemona sha'oth. And this should be in literally the latter part of the night. What he means is not 8 hours from the very beginning of nightfall, because then after 8 hours, which is also when you're likely to wake up naturally, it will still be night. But so that you sleep and you go to sleep 8 hours later. Rambam speaks about until the sun rises will be 8 hours. So that he will rise before the sun rises. In practice, one has to rise, certainly according to the Rambam, as Rambam writes in Ilchot Kriyat Shema, if you wish to, I'll show you. Let me show you what Rambam writes in Ilchot Kriyat Shema in Sefer Ahava, Pelek Rishon. Halacha Yod Beth Yod Aleph. Rambam writes, "Wa'ezahu zemana bayom." You can see this on the screen, correct? Ezahu zemana bayom miswatha. We're talking about the miswah of Kriyat Shema. Miswatha sheyadhil likrot kodem hanes hama. The miswah, in other words, lechatchila, one should begin to read before hanes hama or hanes hama, before the sun rises. So that one completes Kriyat Shema, including the Baracha after Kriyat Shema, which is Birkat Suri Yisrael or Gal Yisrael at the sunrise. So in order to do this, Rambam says you need to know when to begin. So Rambam says, وَالشِّعُورُ ذَا كَمَوْ عِصُورُ الشَّعَى and the time involved is approximately 1/10 of an hour before the sun rises. Rambam's intention is to say that reading Kriyat Shema with the Barachot properly, as one should, as Rambam himself describes in greater depth in Moreh Nevuchim. We'll look at that another time. That should take, that alone, because Kriyat Shema with the Shalosh Parshiyot of Shema, the 3 Parshiyot should take 6 minutes roughly to read. So, which if you test this, you will discover that means you are reading Kriyat Shema slowly, with great kavanah. And if one asks, once on this topic, if one asks, how can one know exactly, unless one has precise astronomical halachic tables and information, so that one can be certain when exactly the sun will rise? And if you do not know, what do you do? Rambam has asked this question in the Teshuvah, in Siman Resh Nun He. And he writes that it is not necessary to be OCD about this. In other words, if you do the best you can, says Rambam over there. When you think it is the right time when the sun is rising, let's say you have no clock, and in ancient times people didn't have a way of telling the time precisely, certainly not if it was cloudy. Even if they had a sundial, which they did frequently, a sundial is only helpful once the sun has risen, and assuming there are no clouds, etc. So when you think the sun is rising, that's when the sun rises for you. You can know within 5 minutes, you would usually you would be able to tell within 5 minutes of the precise time. So Rambam writes in Yichot Kriyat Shema. So if one goes to sleep at such a time that one can sleep a decent amount of time, either 8 hours, or the person knows that they need 6 or 7 hours. The average person is probably advisable that they sleep 7 to 8 hours, but it also changes with age and with other factors. And many people after 6 or 7 hours, or certainly after 8, will naturally wake up. So Rambam says, go to sleep so that at such a time, so that when you wake up, it'll be somewhat before the sun rises. One has to prepare for the tefillah. This takes some time, perhaps. So I would say even an hour before the sun rises, it would be a good idea, because we're not talking normally about just reading Kriyat Shema, where we should take into account same B'kot HaShahar with proper kavanah, which is also takes time if one recites them as one should, and Pesukei de Zimra, etc. So it does take time. So I would say actually an hour roughly before the sun rises is a good time to aim for. I can tell you, seeing that we're learning this particular halacha in Yichot Kriyat Shema Perek Aleph, that once many years ago, I was discussing things to do with the Zman of when is the Nesach Hama with somebody. And this person said to me that everyone is wrong. Everyone has got it wrong when it comes to the time, the halachic time that is known as sunrise, HaNesach Hama. I said, what do you mean? HaNesach Hama is exactly what it says. As the Yerushalmi explicitly says, when the literally when the sun begins to appear and shine on the hilltops. So what's there to get wrong about this? He says, no, that's not correct. Actually, HaNesach Hama is 6 minutes before the sun rises. And I said, well, where did you get that from? And he said to me, well, it says people don't read the Rambam. It says explicitly, Shi'ur zeh kamo isur sha'a kodem sheta'aleh hashemesh. This zaman, and he read it this way, that you're supposed to read Kriyat Shema. You should begin to read it before the sun rises, so that you complete the bracha Haronaim HaNesach Hama at the time of the Nesach Hama, of sunrise. And this time of sunrise is 6 minutes before the rising of the sun. And I was very surprised, frankly, to hear this from this person, because he's fairly knowledgeable. So I said to him, I'm very sorry, but you have misunderstood the Rambam, which is, in general, a point to keep in mind. It is possible, not infrequently, to misunderstand the Rambam, because the Rambam was aiming for maximal concision and brevity, even though he tries to be very clear, and usually he is. But nevertheless, the fact is, it is possible to misunderstand, particularly if a person is not familiar with the Rambam's style or the Lashon of Hazal, etc., because the Lashon of the Rambam is basically the Lashon of Hazal, Mishnaic Hebrew, the Lashon HaKodesh of the Baraitot, of the Mishnayot. So I explained to him, no, that's not what it means. What the Rambam meant to say was that the time it will take you roughly to read the Shema with the brachot is about 6 minutes, a tenth of an hour. You can see, you'll see, Rambam didn't say 6 minutes because people didn't have clocks that measured minutes. Most people didn't have such a device, but they could estimate what a tenth of an hour is, and therefore you should begin about that much time before the sun, before you think the sun is about to rise. And I was pleased to see that when I explained this to him, he said, "Oh, I see, you're correct. That's what Rambam meant." So, not to get that wrong. One can read Kriyat Shema, of course, later, as Rambam goes on to say here, but that's something we'll learn another time.
Thank you, Rabbi Bar-Hayim. We would like to encourage our viewers to share these videos with friends and send in your responses. We would also like to suggest the following opportunity to our viewers. If you identify with Rabbi Bar-Hayim's message and would like to sponsor or dedicate a video interview with the rabbi in honor or memory of a loved one, if you would like to obtain Birkon Nusach Eretz Yisrael, or invite the rabbi for a speaking engagement, please email us at office@machonshilo.org.